Welcome to my second video on how I came to Belgium and how you can too. On this video we're going to be talking about application and admission for schools in Belgium. So you have decided to come to Belgium for graduate school. What do? Get a list of at least 10 schools in Belgium. Review the schools for their standardized test requirements, their minimum requirements in terms of your qualification. Make sure you're looking at it from your point of view. Do not follow anybody hook, line and sinker, because your profile might be different from their profile. Now say you have tracked the schools to maybe 3 schools that you want to apply to. I'm gonna leave a link below of schools in Belgium from any website that I feel is credible enough in their assessment for you to use. Thank me later. But yes, say for example you decide to apply to VUB or Thomas More or KU Leuven. Now I would advise you to create a document. It could be on your laptop, it could be on paper and pen. Just make sure you have a record of these things, because you might forget a lot, especially in this process, because you have to meet up with deadlines. So I'm going to be a lot faster, because the last time I realized that my video was a bit too long because I took a lot of time to drag some things and explain on. So I may be dropping this as mostly bullet points. Now this, after deciding the 3 schools that you want to do, the next thing you should do is identify your research interest. What do you want to really research? Now when you have this area all pinned down, it will reduce the choices that you have to make in terms of, should I do this program, should I not do this program? It eliminates that uncertainty. Now you have that research interest nailed down. Now you look at the department that you've identified. Are they professors writing or researching in this area that I want to? Because you need to mention this in your statement of purpose, or you need to contact these professors directly that you're interested in working under them. That's if you're trying to apply to most schools in Canada, for example. But yes, you need to identify your research interest. Now you know that already, you know the requirement. You need to prepare for your standardized test. I may do a video of how I prepared for my TOEFL. I think I did very well in that, but my GRE, I will have to interview someone because I still couldn't wrap my head around that. I did the GRE twice. The second scores were good, acceptably good, but they were not in the scholarly rank that I had hoped it would be. But yes, I could tell you the mistakes I made, while preparing for the GRE, so you could avoid them. But I will definitely in the future make a video of how I prepare for my TOEFL. But you need to prepare for your standardized test. The community I mentioned in the first video will come into play in this. You could read with people. You could, the GRE tests your quantitative ability, your verbal ability, and your ability to write in analytical written essays. Then maybe like 6 months before you apply, you need to write this test. Make sure you write this test, because if you fail the test, you need some time to rewrite the test. But you can always rewrite the test as much as possible. You just need to wait for maybe like a few days, 15 or 30 days, then you could rewrite the test. So you need to fill out your online applications at this stage, like 6 months before, so you could know what you require and what you don't. Fill out your online applications. Request for your transcript if you are coming from Nigeria. Request for your transcript like 6 months or 8 months before, because it takes a whole lot of time for these people to prepare your transcript, especially if you're coming from Uniben. It takes a while. Or if your transcript needs to be evaluated, you need to apply for transcript evaluation like a year before you even apply. I'm not even exaggerating, because it takes a while for your school to send the transcript to WES or ECA or any other one that is evaluating your transcript. You need to do this on time. Now towards 3 months before you apply, you need to start writing your statement of purpose. Now this is a document that contains that brings all your application together. The statement of purpose talks about your strengths, your weaknesses. It's not a depletion. It's not like an essay that talks about your CV. No. Sometimes it mentions things that are not even in your CV. It brings your whole application together. It's very detailed in terms of describing who you are, what you want to do, and how this program is going to help you do what you want to do, and how you're going to help the department in turn, as a student there. So To write an SOP is not a very difficult task. You can Google it and you get a lot of resources, and you can ask a lot of questions in your community. You could also ask me down below. I can make a video for you as well. Now, after applying, let's say a month before the deadline, submit your application. Submit on time, so that in case they don't have all the documents that are required, you can quickly send it before the actual deadline. So submit all your applications on time. For Mastermind Scholarship, I think you need to submit before January 31st for KU Leuven, and for other people that don't need scholarships, they can submit it by March, but apply early. It gives you a lot of opportunities to get funded and get research benefits, and all that. So after applying, if you fail any tests, do it a month before, so that you can have better chance to redeem yourself. Yes, when you submit your application, you wait for your admission letter. When I say submit your application, I don't mean just for the one school you applied. No, applying to one school is very risky. I'd advise you to apply to multiple schools. So apply to at least 3 schools. It's going to be of great benefit to you. And then moving forward, if you decide to apply to KU Leuven, now this advice is for you. Try to apply before January 31st. That way you have a chance of getting the Mastermind scholarship. And then when you apply for that, before you apply for that, what you need to prepare is your statement of purpose that I mentioned earlier. For KU Leuven, it carries the weight, but what most Belgium schools, including KU Leuven, look out for is your secondary school leaving certificates. They actually indeed look out for that. So if you have WAEC or NECO, try as much as possible to go and get your certificates right now, because it's very important when you're coming to Belgium. And they look at your undergraduate. In fact, they stated in your admission letter that you were given your admission based on what you studied in XYZ. So your undergraduate has to be consistent with what you're applying for your master's. Say you have an undergraduate in chemistry and you want to come to Belgium to study history. That might be very difficult. You might get rejected. So try have a consistent interest. There should be consistency of interest. And then secondly, for your references, you need to get some 3 references, or at least 2 references. I like to have 2 professors and 1 professional reference, like where I've worked before. Have somebody there that's like my manager, that would speak to my character, my work ethics, and also where you studied, your professor, preferably someone that supervised you when you were writing your undergraduate thesis. They should speak to your academic prowess. It's very important that the person knows you, and in their reference letter they should be able to establish that I know this person and I am assessing this person based on my interaction in XYZ, and XYZ is my assessment. So you should have that in your reference letter. Sometimes don't waive your right to view your reference letter. For example, like I used to do that until somebody experienced something where a professor submitted trash for him, like basically sabotaged his application, and he didn't see it because he waived his right to apply, to waive his right to view the reference. So always make sure you see what they are saying about you. But for KU Leuven, they will have to send it to you, then you upload it yourself. You upload all the documents that are required by yourself. So your reference letter should be written, and then what else? Your CV should be great. Look at Belgium format and then apply. What I did for my CV, I used the EU CV creator that I use for my Erasmus Mundus applications. I used that to create a CV for KU Leuven. That is what I use. Sorry, forgive me. So KU Leuven also requires your transcripts and your writing samples. Your writing samples are your undergraduate thesis, and you should always put this in a PDF format and send to them. One thing that was required by KU Leuven that I found very surprising was a list of my methodology courses followed during my undergrad. It took me a while to figure out what this was. I had my transcript. My transcript was clearly stating that, oh, I studied, statistical method and research in second year. I studied this, I studied that. So I was like, what other list do you want? So I talked to a few friends of mine, and I talked to my mentor. You should have a mentor. I talked to my mentor, and he was like, oh, this is what I want. So I had to write short notes on all the methodological courses that I studied, what they were, how they helped me in terms of research, and submitted it. So I was given admission. And that's mostly what you need to know. If there are any more things, shoot a mail to your graduate coordinator. Study the website before shooting a mail, because it's rude to, ask somebody what is already written clearly in the website. Yes, thank you. Don't be a rude person. And if you want to have a mentor, like somebody older or somebody your age mate, be a responsible mentor. Do the work required, like actually look for the information yourself. If you can't find it, then ask your mentor. And then don't just be a burden, like, oh, I can't log into this one, you're running, how far, can you help me? No, they're busy. Be a responsible mentor. Mentee. In terms of cost, in terms of what it cost me to come to Belgium, I will just give you a rough estimate. You can take a pen and a paper or a calculator right now and do the calculation. TOEFL, I did that for 45k. GRE, I think I did that for 75k or so, or 45k, depends on, I think I did, I've forgotten, but just bought a 75k for the GRE. The application fee was about 60 euros. I had to send my scores. For my program, they did not require me to send my scores. They just asked for my password, which I found very risky. But I gave them my password to check out my scores, so that was free for me. But budget 10k in Naira each. For sending your scores. If you're not getting a scholarship, budget your tuition fee. If you're doing a few programs in the sciences, some starts from 900 euros. Most courses in the social sciences, in terms of humanities, in social sciences, in terms of international fees, in the range of 3,000 to 4,000, so 3,500 euros thereabout. Some in the sciences and engineering can be as high as 6,000. So make sure you check specifically what the fees are and prepare that if you are not planning on getting a scholarship. And then you should prepare for how you survive here. If you don't have a sponsor, you should prepare like 9,200 euros for blocked account for a year. You should pay this, but it's not absolutely 100% necessary. And also I should point out here that you can actually work in Belgium. When you come, you get 20 hours to work as a student, and you can use this to sustain yourself. It's absolutely possible to sustain yourself with that money, but you should have money behind, like a blocked account, just in case you're not feeling well, that you couldn't juggle school and work. You need the backup plan. But if your plan is to come here and work, yes, your sponsor can be ready to apply to make it easier for you to apply for your visa. Lastly, the last amount is, I think the visa application process was less than 200k, and the flight ticket was less than 200k as well. So calculate all that, and you should have a rough estimate of what you need to come to Belgium. This is the end of the part 2. There's one last part, which is part 3, and so I will come back for that some other time. I love you. Take care of yourself. Subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below. If you don't have a question, just appreciate me so I know that you like this. And also like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. Is my name Osa_Gio_Dua_.